Thank you for joining us for Meet the Bam Fam featuring David, our full-time store supervisor. Now your host, Ryan. How's it going, everybody? Ryan here over at Bricks Minifigs. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. We are going to be here tonight. We had a little bit of a change up of our Meet the Bam Fam schedule. Riley is at home sick right now, so our best wishes out to Riley. Hopefully he's feeling better and can hopefully join us later in this week. So tonight we went ahead and bumped up our interview with David, our supervisor. He's going to join us here tonight for some questions. Just like we did yesterday, we have lots of different things to ask him. And of course, taking some questions from you. And I know Guillermo has been blowing up our chat already to get those questions in. So if you do have some questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If you do want to join us live, we do have that link available as well up in our comments. All you have to do is copy and paste that into your browser, and you can join us that way. But first and foremost, before we get started here with Dave, I do want you guys all to be aware that Brick World is doing a virtual con this Saturday from 11 to 5. I'm going to try to pull up their screen here. Here we go. So this is what they've got going on. So May 16th, this Saturday, is going to be going on from 11 to 5. They're going to have like 15 of the Masters contestants available. There's going to be some people from Lego on there. There's some volleyball class, some other company. There's some special we also have Steve Hackett Club doing Logo Rally again, as well as we did last time the first virtual con. And they're going to be doing a crate ball contraption and many other displays. The cost on that is only $9 for one device. Or if you want to get an annual pass and get to all 4 of them, because there are going to be 4, which can be seen here. It's May 16th, June 27th, October 31st, and December 12th. You'll get access to all 4 of those for the cost of $3 if you want to check out all 4 of those. We will be a sponsor for that and vendor, so there's going to be a link for us in that the sidebar alongside of that as well. They have 17 rooms this time, and they're looking to do, I think they said about 2,000 people, 2,000 or 3,000 people for this one. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's relatively cheap. You can have your whole family watch on one device. You can cast it to your TV. And get to check out a lot of really cool stuff and hang out with a lot of Lego Masters contestants. I know Boone, Mark, Tyler, Jessica, Sam, I believe, Mel, Manny, Jermaine. I can't remember who else is all going to be on there, but there's a lot of them that are on there. So definitely check that out and have some fun with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing it probably here at the store as well. Jay will probably come in and we'll just watch it here since we're not really doing anything else on this weekend. So, but yeah, so there's that. Make sure you guys check out Virtual Con. Just go to brickworld.com. You guys can check that out. And again, this Saturday from 11 to 5 p.m. Central Time. Mark, Brian, and Kathy are putting that on for everybody with some help from local vendors and displayers.
Honestly, not sure.
All right. So on to our show. We are here with Mr. Dave here. We're going to be talking to him. And we seem to be getting a lot of other questions ready too. So we're going to have a lot of people coming into this. Why am I not talking here? Oh, shoot. Let them know my thing died.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. The batteries died in Ryan's mic, so give him one moment so he can double check everything. Again, thank you guys. If you guys can hear me for all the questions you guys are rolling in right now, that's awesome. I'm extremely excited for this. Not gonna lie, I was not expecting to go on today, so 1 second.
All right. Can everybody hear me now? Check. Radio. Hopefully everybody can hear me. All right. So sorry about that, but yes, Brick World is doing their virtual con May 16th, which is this Saturday from 11 to 5. We are going to be a vendor there, so make sure you guys check out that. You can watch it with your entire family. I do apologize. Apparently, we've been streaming so much, I had to change my batteries the second time. So going through these Amazon batteries like water here. Can everybody still hear me okay? If you can, just put yes in the chat so we can verify that my batteries are working now. And no responses at all. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Thank you, John. You're the first one to let us know. All right. So we're going to get started here. If you guys do want to join us live here on the stream, there is going to be a link here at the bottom of your screens, as well as in the upper comments. If you guys want to join us, you can join us live like Guillermo did yesterday. And we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, he posted those questions on the thing. So
yes, there are some questions. We're going to get started with some of ours real quick first, and then we're going to move over to those over there. So, yeah, we're going to have some fun. All right. Oh, this one got moved here. All right. Anyway, we're just going to get set up. All right. So how are you doing today, David?
I'm doing pretty well.
You excited about having your stream today?
Yeah, no, I actually am quite excited. I wasn't sure how things were going to progress for this week, but you moved me up this past few days, so I'm excited.
Okay. Well, you were here yesterday with us and Andrew, so you kind of know how this is going to go.
Yeah, he messaged me yesterday and he was like, "Hey, Becca and Riley are not, available for tomorrow. Do you want to move yours up?" And I was like, sure, I guess. I was like, yeah, why not? I was like, oh no, I'm kind of nervous, and he thought I was serious. I was just kidding. So I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, why not?
All right. So this is your chance to grill them. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, like many of you guys have already done. You may also click on the link to join us live here and ask your question personally. So, all right, we're gonna get started with the first question for you, Dave.
Okay.
How long have you worked here at Bricks Minifigs?
Just over 2 years.
Just over 2 years. Do you remember when you started?
March, I believe we figured out.
All right. Are you into Lego? ? And how did you get into it?
Well, of course, I'm in the Lego. I mean, that was one of the biggest draws of me wanting to work here. I've been in the Lego probably my entire life. I could definitely tell you my first few sets.
Well, that's for later.
Which, yeah, I was like, wait, I think that's a question for later.
But how did you get into it? Was it something that you just wanted to do? Was it something that your parents bought for you as a kid?
So, I mean, growing up, of course, Lego is almost a very common toy to get on your birthday or Christmas present.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, celebrated Hanukkah a lot more when we were younger. So Lego was definitely a top tier kind of ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, David, Josh, or Sarah or Katie, they like this, so why don't we get them this, for the holiday week. So it was a common thing, but I don't know. I think I've honestly always been into Lego. Like, there were times where I had focused on other things, and a lot of my Lego were just at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're with me, but I didn't make them a priority. I focused on other things. I played with other toys and stuff, of course. I mean, I had Transformers. I had 3/4 scale G.I. Joes. I had Micro Machines.
Micro Machines are awesome.
I still have a lot of the figures they made.
Mm-hmm.
When you get the multiple packs and stuff.
Sure.
They made Star Wars ones. So I have a bunch of Stormtroopers at home, which are really cool. So I've had all kinds of stuff, but Lego's always been one of the top 5 toys for me, or items that I kept in my life that was very, I don't know, it just drew me in the most.
Yeah.
Because the whole concept behind Lego is an unlimited source of creativity.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So when it came down to it, is I liked all these other toys and things, but Lego was so open, and then they started coming out with more things that was appealing to me, such as when they revealed the first Batman line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before it was Star Wars City, Western, all kinds of bare basic lines, and then they came out with a few things here and there, like Knight's Kingdom. That was the first really big thing that drew me in to Lego.
Okay.
And then the Batman line came out, and I started
Getting obsessed.
expanding more. I started like going more into like what superheroes are going to be made and stuff like that. And then I had all kinds of stuff. I had Ninjago, I had Star Wars and everything. So when we get sets in here, I get like a nostalgic feel for them because it's like I used to have this, or I remember going to the toy store and be like, I want this, but never got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and go through one of our audience questions here. This comes from Ken. It says, David, what is your favorite Lego theme, favorite set, and all-time favorite movie? So it's kind of funny because you go into Lego straight to movies. So
I mean,
so let's start with this.
Three questions.
What's favorite Lego theme?
So
let's get that out of the way.
I have a few favorites, of course, but the one I stick on the most is superheroes. That is what I have kept growing with in the past like 15 years.
Okay. Do you prefer Marvel or do you prefer DC?
All right. So this is kind of a tricky question. So when I first got into superheroes, it was DC Comics. I grew up watching the 90s shows, animated Batman, animated Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the first superhero things that got me into that world. But over time, Lego started coming out with stuff such as Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I think, was one of their first themes for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it was a separate thing at the time. So for me personally, I am equally committed to both worlds, but because Lego has done more with Marvel than DC over the years, of course, I personally have more Marvel.
Okay, yeah, because there's more Marvel sets. So
but there's a handful of DC sets that I don't have just because, like, I don't really care to get them.
Yeah. So the next part of that question was your favorite set. I would assume it has to be your favorite set owned.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. All right, so
which is fine because that's one of our normal questions anyway.
DC Superheroes was the first line that Lego came out with for superheroes. So I could tell you one of my favorite sets is the first set that Wonder Woman and Superman came in. I remember.
Do you remember which set it was?
It's
the name of it.
It was like Superman versus Lex Mech, or I forget the actual name for it.
Okay.
But I know exactly all that comes in it. I know the set. I literally know the set like the back of my hand. So I remember seeing photos for it when it was going to be released and everything, when Lego used to do news differently about when sets were coming out. So I remember being probably a year into college, and that set came out, and I was like, cool, I don't have to be at class till this time. So I went to Toys R Us, I bought that set, and I built it in my car in the parking lot before I went to class. So that is by far one of my favorite sets because there was just like a really fond memory of it.
Favorite movie? All-time favorite movie?
Oh, man. I could tell you for Disney, it's Treasure Planet.
That's your favorite movie?
At least for Disney.
Well, all time.
See, that's hard. I don't really have like an all-time favorite
Okay, movie. What movie have you watched the most on repeat? Let's try going that one. He's thinking hard, folks. If you guys are just tuning in, we're asking David. We're doing an interview with David here, our sewer supervisor, and he's trying to figure out which was his all-time favorite movie. He's getting me a little trouble here, so let's see if we can send him some vibes to try to get him to answer that here.
I honestly don't know if I have like an overall, like I could watch it on repeat and never get tired of it kind of movie. Like I like movies a lot.
Okay,
it's one of my favorite things. Yeah. So I personally don't really have a specific
top movie
answer.
Pick one. Go.
I don't have an answer.
I think we're going with Treasure Planet, folks.
It's hard. It's extremely hard because there's all these franchises and series and stuff like that.
All right, we're gonna get back to some of our questions here, and then we'll, but keep the questions coming, guys. We will make sure we try to get to as many of them as we can. Our next up is going to be one of our questions here, and that is: do you enjoy working at Bricks and Minifigs?
Yeah,
I would hope so, but what do you got for
I
that?
extremely enjoy it.
Okay.
I've had a lot of jobs growing up, so this by far is my favorite. The atmosphere, the challenges, being that I'm second to you for the shop, like it's a huge thing for me.
Okay.
And I have an overall blast with it.
Okay, we're gonna fast forward to the end of our questions here real quick because this ties right in. Guillermo asks, "What is your favorite perk of the job?" You can be honest. That's fine.
Okay.
That's what it's here for. Be honest.
All right. So
favorite perk of the job.
All right. So besides the obvious that I get to be around Lego way more than normal, and I get maybe some advantages, of course. Personally, it's the experience I have with the customers that come in.
Okay.
A lot being the kids and maybe like teens, because seeing their look on Lego for their lives growing up, I don't know. It's just it's important to me as a person.
Okay. Not bad, sir. Not bad. So he's the customer service guy. I don't know where that exit just came from.
Okay.
Okay. So besides perks, this is kind of close to the same thing. What is your favorite thing about working at Bricks and Minifigs?
I love being able to like go through sets, and I get to see sets and figures and stuff that I never got to see growing up, or never ever thought about. Like, oh, maybe I'll get to see this one day.
Yeah,
like
we've seen some pretty cool stuff in
Falcon.
Here. Sure.
I never thought I would be able to see that as I am able to here at the shop.
Yeah, so he's talking about the UCS Millennium Falcon that we've had on display here since we opened. It is the oldest set that we've had in the store. It's been here the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
We did have three of them, but we sold two. So all we have left is the display. So I'm pretty proud of that. So yeah,
and it only took a world problem to get those two out the shop. But
hey, thank you, government. Right,
whatever.
What does your normal workday look like when you come to work?
You want me to break it down for you?
Break it down.
like my base of what I normally do.
Yeah. So what do you usually do when you come in?
So I've kind of have it set. Usually I open the shop here. So when literally the first thing I do when I come in, besides unlocking the door and turning off the alarm, I check to see what's going on. If I'm not here for a couple days or a weekend or something, I'll take a lap through the shop real quick to see what's here and there. And sometimes it's been well worth it. I could definitely tell you some stories. So I'll do that, and then I'll either come into the party room, kind of see, if there's anything in here like sets or something, just to check, see if it's clean, of course. And then I'll get my breakfast ready, make sure the drawer's in there. And I always get you with that too. Like you always ask me about it. It's like, hey, do you do this, do that? I was like, all those things have been done.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that while my breakfast is cooking, because obviously it's in the microwave mostly.
Yeah, you do breakfast there a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, considering I'm here at 8 o'clock,
8:39 in the morning.
Yeah. Yep. And to clarify, I literally come in almost an hour early every time.
Every day. Yep.
And I've been doing that since before I worked here. Like that's just one of my personal things to do. So then for a weekday, it's based off like, what do we got to do? Are we going through bulk? Are we working on sets? Of course, I got to clean the shop every other day, spray the Lego, which I practically do every day, stuff like that. And then if it all depends on who I'm working with, because I could be working with you, I could be working with Andrew or Riley or Becca on what they're doing, and then we just kind of go over what we got to do. And a lot of times it's like, I know what I would like us to do because it'll benefit us. And then there's a lot of times it's 50-50 where it's like you have a list of stuff where it's like, hey, can you get this done and this done before the day's over or within the next few days and stuff like that. So I'll fold it into one another, so it's like I can get my thing done with yours at the same time.
Yeah. All right. So next up is, what is the difference in how you act at home versus how you act at work?
Honestly, there's not much of a difference. maybe I'm a bit more like polite and is conservative the right word?
Yeah.
Conservative is the right word.
Yeah, I guess you're more PG here than out in the world.
Of course, because I need to be professional, especially given that this is your place. Like, I need to look good for you, of course. Besides who walks in, because this is your name under this store. But at home, I'm pretty much the same. Like, I'll joke around, I'll make little quips here and there, or maybe I'll be frustrated, or maybe I'm just kind of chill. Or it's like, we could do this or that. Or it's like, I don't really care what goes on. We could just do whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much the same.
All right. So follow-up Lego question here, and then we're going to get to one of our audience questions again. How long ago did you start dealing with Lego? As far as, do you remember what age you were when you started building it all? I know a lot of the Lego masters were answering saying around 4 or 5, but some people start later. Even Jessica Ragsy was saying she didn't start till about 6 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know, 5 or 6. I think I really
so like 5 or 6
started
Okay.
getting into Lego.
So next one up we have Guillermo's asking a lot of questions here. So Guillermo, I'm not going to answer all of them, but we're going to go through it, a lot of try to get through as many as we can.
We'll see what we can do in between.
Guillermo asks, which character besides Iron Man would you have Lego make a Hall of Armor? So I guess maybe not a Hall of Armor, maybe a Hall of Suits.
See,
let's call that, because really,
besides
War Machine.
Like, is it Marvel based, or is it Marvel and or DC?
I would say either one. It's just which character. It's
kind of hard to answer.
This is just which character. So which one would you rather see? I mean, I guess like you can think of like the Lego Batman movie had all of like bat suits and like a conveyor belt kind of thing.
Right.
So like, who else would you want to see have some kind of room or hall of suits or armors like that?
I definitely would like to see more suits for Spider-Man. I definitely liked that question yesterday when you were asking for Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Spider-Man has so many different suits, just like Iron Man alone or Batman, and it's like that'd be really cool to see. It would be nice to see other versions of other characters too, like maybe like more old school nostalgic styles.
Okay.
But it'd be really cool as well to see more like out of the box, such as the Venomized Iron Man that came out. Like, that is really out of the box.
Okay. So one of the early questions we had when we asked everybody to start sending us questions earlier during our Battle of the Brains builds, the very first question that came up for you is, why mechs? Why do you build so many mechs? So if you guys didn't see it, if you guys go back to our Alpha Brick Builds competition way back when, like a month ago or so, David, we had a little mock moments with David where he would come in and show us a lot of different mechs that he's built. I think you have close to 10 or a dozen in the back, something like that, plus more at home.
I think overall I have like 18.
Okay.
I think.
So why so many mechs?
I mean, personally, for me as a superhero fan, mechs are a big part of that whole universe. I mean, you got Iron Man or Batman who have some kind of suit base, it's mechanized, or you have villains like Lex Luthor or Brainiac who have mechs that they build for themselves or as minions or something. But then Marvel, like, there are so many different kinds of machines and villain in those comics that have like just drones and stuff. So that's what really inspired me to make mechs, is in that kind of base. Is like, oh well, these characters fight these, so maybe these villains could have some mechs or drones, or maybe I could just make a few that are just something fun for me for a handful of old stuff I kept for myself.
Okay. To elaborate a little bit more on that, Guillermo asks, What do you think Lego can do to improve their mechs?
Knee joints and gaps.
What do you mean by gaps? We'll start there. Because
Okay.
I know this is a thing for you.
Yeah. So I don't want to elaborate too much on this because this is going to be a topic for a later day. So I will point out the Bat Mech that came out last year, I believe, where it's Flash, Firefly, and Poison Ivy.
Yep.
So there's these two panels that fold over for Batman. He's inside, the head goes down. Cool. Except for the rib cages, they're open. Gaps.
You don't like them?
I don't like it.
Okay.
Absolutely, by far, that part, just in that set alone, I didn't like that.
So I think your answer then would simplify down to get rid of the gaps.
Yeah.
and I can attest. Dave is a big supporter of going. Let's call it Gapless Max, and trying to fill it in. Gapless period.
Overall,
Gapless everything.
It doesn't have to be a mech. It could be a ship, a car, a brick-built figure of some sort. If there's gaps, something in your design is not right.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to fill that with at least 1 to 2 parts easily, whether it's a plate or a brick or both.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to go back to one of ours here. If you could choose any set to own that you don't already, what would it be and why?
Does it have to be retired? Or is it like maybe current?
Anything that is or was available. Nothing in the future, but something that's current or in the past.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Okay, I have one that's retired that I've always wanted. So it was an old space theme, at least maybe like a prototype of an idea set. There were these like skull-like alien ships. So you got like a big one, a medium one, and 1 or 2 small ones, and they were fighting some kind of good guy or space guy in the set. It's an old set. I don't remember the name on it, but it's very black and white builds, some red as the lasers. And I really love that set. And I saw it at Brick World last year, and I really wanted to grab it.
I remember you like, I want to get it. I want to get it.
I wanted to grab it, and I didn't. And it was kind of pricey, but I think I still could have gotten it for a slight pinch off the price. I don't remember the name of it. It's kind of hard, but I know exactly what it looks like and like how many different builds are in it. It's like 5 or 6 different builds.
Okay. So we're going to move on to getting to know you a little more personally here. We're going to mix this up. Are you an early bird, a night owl, or neither?
Both.
Explain.
All right. So growing up, of course, as you know, when you're younger or older, there's a lot of times where you're going to have to get up early, whether it's for work or school, or maybe something's going on with family where you got to get up.
Baby, you got to leave in the morning and go to Florida for Disney World.
Something. So over time, I've been able to like, all right, I got to be up early. Cool. So I'll go to bed, wake up. Let's say I don't get a lot of sleep. I'll still be up, ready, dressed, trying to get something to eat before I got to go wherever I got to go. I can do that easily. As for the night owl part, I have a very open background of being up late past other people's sleep time.
We're going to go to, what is your favorite snack food?
Pretzels.
Any kind of pretzels? Any certain brand or style of pretzels?
Snyder pretzels.
Snyder's pretzels with the rods. You got like the
big ones, the fluffier ones.
Okay. I don't remember what those are called.
It's like, you know, like when you go to a carnival and you get a big soft pretzel.
Uh-huh.
So like Snyder makes, they're not soft pretzels. Obviously, they're crunchy, but
Yeah.
they're almost as big. And so they make them in sourdough. They make them where they're darker, which are
Okay.
by far my favorite. And a lot of times they'll come in like the rings.
Gotcha.
But those are my favorite. It's probably one of my top snacks.
So we're going to go to the audience here. We've got John who asks, what do you think of the Monkey King line that will be coming out soon?
Ooh.
And try to keep us sort of short. We are half an hour in already. So.
Ooh, okay. I don't really know too much more of like what it overall is. I don't know if it's going to be a show or anything. I like it though.
And thank you, John, for spelling it correctly. It is Monkie, not EY.
I like it a lot. I think it's a great theme. I'm not sure if it's going to last long or not. I think it would be great if it was just this theme and that's it. But if it turns out to be a show like Ninjago or something, sweet, bring it on, because I think it looks cool. There's a lot of cool parts and colors, and it's different. It's very different.
Okay, we're gonna go to one more real quick from John as well, who asks, "What are your views on companies that use a third-party brick like Xingbao bricks, but a completely original design? So not a copy like other companies that we know of. But we're not going to say.
Okay.
But Xingbao is actually one of those few companies that actually does hire designers to create their own sets. What do you feel about those other non-Lego sets? Which I guess could. I mean, he's a third-party brick. Well, I mean, technically, would that also include Mega Block? So, I mean, I guess it's a bit like honestly, is that asking like non-Lego, or is it talking about like non-mainstream? Right, so I guess it's a question too.
Personally, I feel that Mega Block is a secondary brand to Lego.
Okay.
Flat out. As for everybody else, like Lepin and etc.
Sorry.
Oh God, did I say it? Like.
Well, see, they're a different story, and I have to clarify real quick. Lepin was a Chinese company that blatantly stole everyone else's IP to sell it for a fraction of the cost at a fraction of the quality of brick. I actually think I own a Xingbao set though.
Like 1/3 the fraction.
Yeah.
This was like I don't really know much on Xingbao as a company or a brand.
So well, I mean, don't even think about the names. But what do you think about other companies that are making their own bricks and their own designs?
If it's original, if it's literally never been done before, style minifig sets, fine, do it. So what?
There you go.
Original. If Lego doesn't have the license or never has ever, can't get in trouble for it.
Okay.
It's never been done before.
All right. Next up, we're gonna go with what are your hobbies outside of work? I know one of them.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Obviously, because it's one of your other questions.
You get to that, yeah.
Yeah, no,
but you can mention it.
Definitely is. I like being outdoors a lot.
Okay.
So I like camping, biking, hiking. I like all that stuff.
Walks on the beach. I'm just kidding.
this isn't, okay. All right, we're not going there. Sure. So I enjoy doing that a lot. I enjoy getting a lot of cardio in, I guess you could say.
There you go. Okay. Getting your steps in.
I like seeing movies. I like going to concerts. I like just traveling to different places. Stargazing, I do enjoy. I don't get to do it often around here because
romantic dinners.
It's not Lady in the Tramp. Stop. You're breaking this way too open. All
right. So you like a lot of outdoor stuff.
A lot of stuff.
All right. So you and I recently got done, or almost done, watching the Australian version of Lego Masters.
Yeah, we're about to finish.
So referring to the U.S. Lego Masters, which contestant, singular, is your favorite and why? Go.
It's kind of a little biased, but I really like Boone. I really like him as a person. I like his creativity, his insight on Lego over the years. The reason why I say it's biased is because we met him last year at Brick World.
Yes, we did.
I knew of him. I've seen him online YouTube for Beyond the Brick and his own things.
Mm-hmm.
But the sheer fact of being able to meet him and just talk with him like a normal person was really cool.
Yeah.
It was almost like
we actually got to hang out with him for a while last year because it was right behind us.
Yeah. It was cool. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? You need this piece? Here you go." Like, it was a nice reassurance, I guess you could say, from someone like him who has been around Lego his entire life too, and to be a bit older, to have some of the same interests too, and just overall for Lego, like it. I really liked him. I was completely happy with him being on the show, whether he was going to win or not. Just the fact that he
made
got
it
to
and
be
he
on
actually
the
got
show
to contest
was really cool because I was like, I know him.
I've seen that guy last year. I know who he is. Okay. So we're going to go to one of your personal questions here. As we know, you are a superhero fan. Which superhero is your favorite?
Marvel or DC?
Doesn't matter. Pick one. You don't get one of each. Pick one. Favorite superhero?
Technically, would have to get one of each because it's two different things.
No. It's got to be one favorite.
All right. Superman.
Why?
He was the first. He was the first superhero I ever saw. He was the first superhero that brought me into that universe.
Okay.
At least for DC, being that DC is a more darker based comic or comic.
They can
line,
be. Yes, absolutely.
Very dark. And because it's based off more closer to my age, because I was a 90s kid. I'm born 91. So when he came out, it was in the 60s. And then the first like color comic was Action Comic. And that by far one of the most expensive comics.
Yes, absolutely.
To date. And Lego made a set from it, which I still need to grab, or at least brick out from Bricklink. So Superman, I could go on why he's my favorite, but I'll just flat out answer it.
Okay. We're going to go to a viewer question here. This one comes from Kurt. Kurt asks,
Kurt?
Do you enjoy more the anticipation of a certain set being released or just playing around and building your own mocks? So do you like the pump up of all the sets coming out, or do you like actually building it?
All right. So for me personally, growing up, there was a lot of times where I got a set and I mocked it up. So to answer that question, I get very excited for what comes out because I never know what it's going to be, and it could be anything. It could be something I've been wanting. It could be something way out of the box. But almost always when I get a set, I'm doing something to it, such as filling in the gaps. So
as we talked about.
Yeah. So the other
just
the other day, my sister-in-law to be, she was like, why don't you start boxing these up and taking them apart like your brother? And I was like, can't do that. She's like, why? It's like, because I mocked up almost every single one of these. All these ships, these vehicles. The only thing I technically could put away is my minifigs. So it's like I can't do that because the stuff I incorporated in after I build it, or now during the build, I can't take out because then it's like a whole bigger process.
Yeah.
Because I'd have to separate all the parts, put it together for what it is when I bought it.
For real.
And then keep all the parts that I want for this
separately.
Yeah. And it's not worth it.
Okay. Of course, with us being in quarantine or stay at home or whatever you want to call it for, I think going on like day 45 or
I don't know.
As my friend Kim would say, like 10,964 or whatever. Everybody's been on their tablets and their phones a lot more often, obviously, because social media and everything else. What would you say is your favorite mobile app or video game? So it could be social media, it could be a game, it could be just something else. I know Andrew said his favorite was YouTube because he's been watching a lot of videos to help pass time.
And I am on YouTube a lot more. I've been on YouTube a lot more, especially given quarantine. I wouldn't say it's my all-time favorite. I mean, it's definitely something that I'm on all the time. I'm not really big on video games. I like video games. I like seeing the stories, trying them out if it's an interest to me, but it's not something that I prioritize in my life where it's like, I need to put 5 hours into this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not an ideal for me. But I can tell you that I do play Pokemon Go, and I love it. I very much enjoy it because that was one of the first things that really got me into other things growing up.
Okay, well, since you brought it up, I have to ask. It's a nice little lead in there. So we know you're a fan of Pokemon. You play it all the time. You talk to me all about all sorts of Pokemon. Which one is your favorite? You have to pick one.
Overall, fine.
And if you could pick a champion, like your best, most powerful Pokemon, who would that be? So who was your favorite?
Same, or could that
no, it could be a completely different one. So who was your favorite?
Cool.
And who would you pick as your champion, like Pokemon, to like go into battle with?
Really well. Perfect. Okay. So to clarify, before I actually answered this, I'm not an all-time like geek, nerd, etc. when it comes to Pokemon. I used to have the cards. So what? I used to watch the show. I've missed several or more seasons. I don't know how many seasons there are now. But I've always been a fan of Pokemon. It's awesome. I love it. So when the game came out, I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to do it, just because like I didn't know how it was going to be. So when I finally got into it, and then I would go out and I start to meet people and everything, I really started to get involved with it, and the community, it has grown.
Okay, so who's your favorite? Come on.
So overall, before all this, Lugia is my favorite Pokemon.
Okay.
Okay.
Why is Lugia your favorite?
So when I was a kid and that film came out, I already had known like the whole Gen 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's only Gen right now. So when the movie came out, it was a huge deal for when Lugia was revealed, and it's a really cool story behind him, and he's a really unique bird.
Okay. Which one would you take into battle with you? If you had to pick like a champion, who
Lucario.
Would it be? Lucario. Okay.
He's my Super Smash Bros.
And why Lucario?
Because he's the only one of his kind.
Okay.
So he's a Ronin, a lone horse kind of Pokemon.
A lone wolf.
Yeah,
he's on his own out there. Okay. We briefly mentioned it earlier. What was the first set that you remember building?
It's one you own. It's the sheriff.
Oh, from the Western series.
Yeah, the Western Sheriff's Office.
The sheriff in the general store.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the pair.
The one with the jail cell that breaks open.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first sets I remember building.
Okay. Quickly off of that one.
What year did that? Just to clarify, what year did that come out?
I want to say that was about 92, 91, 92, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so that makes sense.
I know Fort Legorado got remade a second time, and there was a re-release later on, but
okay,
I believe that was all
that
mostly.
Makes sense because I said 5 or 6 was my age, so.
Well, they still would have been around. They held sets for a while back then.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't like a
big
turnaround they have
then
now.
Sets were out for like 7-8 years.
Maybe three, depending.
There were some that were out pretty long.
Okay, let's go video games. We know that everybody's been playing video games. I know you play video games too.
Yeah.
Right
now.
Console or PC? I don't think you've really ever played PC, but have you played PC games?
Oh no, I played PC.
Okay, so console or PC? If you preferred a method, would it be console or PC?
Console.
Which one?
All right. See, this is a longer answer because
we're just.
All right. So I own the Switch. I own the Nintendo Switch. I've always wanted one, and my cousin bought one for me.
Awesome portable systems.
Over a year ago. I love it. Absolutely love it. Part of it is nostalgic because I grew up with the old systems. Sega, Nintendo 64, all of that.
Uh-huh.
Okay? But to clarify, this is the first ever system I've ever personally owned myself.
Okay.
I've never gone out and bought an Xbox, PS4, or anything. I've played on all the systems, almost every single system I've played on. I've played at least 2 to 3 video games on each system, but I personally have never owned one up until the Switch. And again, I wasn't even going to buy it. I was very skeptical about buying the Switch, and then my cousin was like, here's the money. Merry Christmas.
There you go.
Thanks.
We're going to go back to our chat here. It looks like Kurt has another question. When building all of your own mechs that you probably display during the Battle of the Brains segments, what gives you the most inspiration for the ideas behind them? So where do you get your inspiration for the mechs that you showed off?
Honestly, it's the concept of it.
Okay.
There's not like a specific theme or genre or etc. that is like, oh, I want to base my robot off that. It's more or less like, I like what this does. I like what the concept and the overall idea of it could be, and that is really what it comes down to. It's like, I like this one thing from this robot, but I like 3 things from this robot. Okay. How could I incorporate that into a build I want to make?
Well, and that kind of incorporates us into our next one from John, who asks, what about third-party mechs like My Build Mechs? Have you seen them or have you tried them out?
My Build Mechs?
My Build Mechs, apparently. I have personally not heard of them.
I don't think I've ever heard of My Build Mechs. Is it a YouTuber? Is it a brand?
So if you can clarify on that, let us know.
Because I don't know
see
how
a
to
My Build
answer.
Mecha, which looks like it's...
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
Oh. So to show everybody off as Dave's looking here real quick, I'm going to add it to the stream here so you guys can see what he is talking about. I'm pretty sure these are what he's talking about here. So there's a ton of different like pre-built mechs here. It looks like these are... I'm not sure if they're from here or not, but they have this little videos. Like they're destroying each other. It's funny. But looks like they have a whole series of different frames and stuff that you could build mechs out of, like some pre-built ones. So if you want different styles, as well as like a gorilla style with the longer arms, scorpions, and then you could put your own builds into them.
Interesting.
So I would take that as a no. I don't think Dave's seen these before. Have you
I'm
seen
gonna
those
have
before?
to look into that. And it's all Lego based, like it's Lego compatible.
It looks like it's all brick compatible or Lego based.
I can't really tell from the
yeah, it's going to be hard to tell.
I'm going to take a look at those. I have never heard about them, nor have I seen them, at least from this angle, to like see what he's looking at.
I'm trying to take a look here. They might actually even be their own custom parts. They are their own custom parts. They are custom mech parts.
So torsos, legs, arms, hands.
Individual segments.
Well, I got a lot of time during quarantine.
So I think John just put you onto another source for your mechs there. So good job, John.
Maybe.
All right. So speaking of the mechs and everything else that we've talked about so far, do you prefer free building or using instructions for your builds?
Can you elaborate?
Well, I mean, do you get a set and you just build it from the instructions, or do you get a set, or do you get parts to build your own? So like you were talking before about doing your things with your mechs and filling holes, is it most of the instructions, or do you just take guidance from the instructions, but you build your own mock off of it?
So of course I use the instructions when I get sets, of course, because I don't know how they're going to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Lego is very secretive about how they build their stuff until you get it. Sometimes. So like I said before, when I was younger, I used to just get sets, play with them, and then I would come across things that I would like different about them. So over the years, I would get a set, and as I build it, I would already like point out that like I don't like how this is here, or I don't like how there's nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you could say, yeah, I use the instructions to help me incorporate a fix in a set, or a mock-up, or an upgrade is what I refer them to. So yeah, instructions I definitely use overall.
Okay. next up here, we're going to go back to talking about work. What is your favorite memory about working here with Bricks and Minifigs? Whether it's in store or out of store, because we do some out of store events as well. Favorite memory. You've been here for 2 years. We've had some fun. We've had some interesting conversations. We've had some interesting customers. Some interesting interactions with other staff members, which may or may not have happened on stream or off stream.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
I don't know if I have like one specific favorite. I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of things that have happened here, whether it's on the clock, off the clock, outside the shop. I mean, I think my first few months here, I think the first several months here, I was out in downtown Naperville, and somebody recognized me, like one of the kids, and moms recognized me from here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really grateful for that they had only met me like once or twice, and then were like, oh, hey, and then they said thank you, and we enjoyed, meeting you and seeing you at the shop. And
so you were downtown Naperville, probably Pokemoning it up.
I was Pokemon Go hunting, yeah. It's my go-to spot.
And you had some other customers of ours that recognized you while you were up there because of the store.
Right. So that's something personal that I really loved, that it was like I stood out enough for a customer
to recognize you in the public.
And a kid to be like, hey, I remember you.
We know who you are. We now know where you live. No,
yeah.
So as of working here as well, what is your personal favorite method of certifying sets? Because we do it all the time here whenever sets come in, and we try to finish them up as much as we can.
Yes.
What is your personal method on going about doing that?
All right. So personally, I want it done a way that I personally can remember what was going on with this set. If I remember that this part was broken or missing or something like that, I want to sort it that way. Of course, we have our specific method here, but I try my best to incorporate a reasonable amount of my own techniques, so that way I can remember if I messed up afterwards, that it's like, oh, I know why, because this situation happened. So it allows me to cover myself.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. We're going to move on to, since we're talking about mechs, or not mechs, certifying. Sorry, I was going through all the comments here.
I'm sure there's a lot I could see.
There's some there. So we were talking about certifying. What about sorting? Do you prefer to sort by color or by element type?
Okay. Personally, elements would be best, in my opinion, because it's like this brick in this 5 to 10 colors. But if I can sort it into colors with those same parts and everything, so I know that I have that part in that color, then I'm going to go about it that way, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. Is I have light gray, dark gray, white.
So you're sorting by color right now?
I'm sorting by color right now, but personally, I would like it by parts, because then I know once the parts are expanded to a certain.
Well, I guess here's the question. So since you're going to be sorting it both by color and by part or by element type, do you have them in color categories and then by which piece it is, or do you have those parts and then in different colors as you go back? So what's the first method of sorting that you're going to do? Or is it going to be color then part or part then color?
So if I really had it settled, I don't right now. It's literally bags of colors. That's literally what I have right now, because I don't have space. I really don't have a lot of parts. I've just only started within the past few years collecting parts to have. So me personally, if I were to have like a master sort, I guess you could say, I would want it part than color. And the reason why is because if I know I have that part, then it's probably a high percentage that I have that in a different color, given the amount of part usage I use for that specific part or parts.
Okay.
You follow?
Uh-huh. Of course I follow. They follow.
Yeah. Do you follow? If I have that part, I possibly will have it in that color because I like that part.
Okay. This is asked online as well, but I also have it written down too. So as you and I actually discussed earlier, Iron Man has many, many different armors. Which of them would be your favorite and why?
All right. This actually is pretty easy. The War Machine armor.
Like the OG War Machine?
That's a pretty good one.
I was gonna have to think about this one.
That sounds a little tricky.
There's only 85 to choose from. I mean, technically, you're really more like 20 something of them.
The War Machine is a separate.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
And it has several different variations of that version, but it's specifically War Machine.
So, which War Machine?
Probably the one from Civil War would be.
Okay,
one of my
that was
favorites.
a cool one. The black one.
I don't really care for the bat though. The one he tried to use on Cap, stupid idea. Irrelevant.
The little like shocker bat thing, whatever.
But that one I really liked. I would probably say that one or the one in Infinity War, because the one in Endgame is a more upgraded version of the Iron Patriot, which technically is a different mark itself.
Correct. All right. Flipping the questions around here. If you won the lottery, what three things, could be anything, not necessarily Lego. What three things would it be? If you won the lottery, what three things would you buy?
It would not be an absurd amount of Lego. I will guarantee that it's not going to be an absurd amount of Lego. Sure, there'll be some Lego sets I'll buy, but that's not priority. All right. So personally, if I were to win the lottery of any amount,
Three things.
I would not be getting a mansion. I would get a regular house.
Okay.
Because that's where a lot of people go wrong.
Okay.
I would probably get the 2015 Chevy Camaro from Transformers. The yellow
the Bumblebee Camaro.
One with the black stripes, but I would probably change the color to the black with yellow.
Oh, inverted.
In the stealth.
Inverted colors. Okay.
I really like that car, regardless.
It was a pretty cool.
I've always been a Camaro fan. As baseline.
That was a dope Camaro.
So, that one. So that's two things. As for the third, I don't know, maybe a vacation home somewhere.
Okay.
Like
that's not a bad idea.
A small apartment built to my specifications, probably in New York.
Oh, interesting.
I can't specify where.
Like downtown New York? You're talking about like upstate New York?
I can't specify.
But why New York?
Maybe close to.
Why not like Massachusetts or Connecticut or? We're gonna go for the far.
Again, this can get. We can drag this.
Or go to Vermont.
We can drag this real out, but I'm trying to better on quickening these.
Vermont, it's fine. I mean, it's fine. Like,
I would probably do a secondary small place for me and someone else in New York,
which costs 7 times as much, depending where you live.
Depending on what I do with the lottery, which is why I would get a basic house and not a mansion, because a lot of money is wasted on a mansion. Again,
okay.
Topics I can rant about another day.
Okay. We talked about your favorite snack earlier, which was Snyder's pretzels. What is your favorite entree to eat? Dinner or lunch?
Oh, it has to be dinner or lunch?
Well, I mean, it's an entree. I mean, we're not talking. I guess it could be breakfast. I guess there's.
I'm a big breakfast
entrees for breakfast.
Okay, I'm a big breakfast fan. But if you just want to specify it for lunch or dinner, I really like chicken carbonara, however you want to.
Chicken carbonara.
Yeah, I really like that as a dish. Can be done a few different ways, so I really like that. It's kind of hard because like the level of eating for me is difficult. Given that I have Crohn's, and that's another thing which could be asked later, or it's reference to pretzels as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard for me to like have a favorite because it was kind of hard for a lot of years trying to figure out
what you can or could not eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy that dish.
Okay. We have another question on here, but you might have already answered it with the lottery question, which is, what is your real dream car?
Probably that
So,
Camaro.
okay, so that's what I thought. I figured the Camaro would be it.
People say I'll never own, but I mean the value in that one has dropped because, to clarify,
they'll get miles on them. Come on.
When that model came out with the specified logo, it was like $30,000.
Yeah, the Bumblebee logo. Yeah,
$30,000. But being that was 10 years ago,
roughly.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth that now. Could be worth more given certain styles.
All right, you were talking about going outside and enjoying the fresh air. What is your favorite sport to watch, and what is your favorite sport to play?
I'm not really a big sport person.
No?
I do like soccer.
Okay.
But
you like to watch or you like to play?
I like to play soccer.
Okay. If you went to your buddy's house, whatever, and they were watching sports like ESPN with all the crazy channels, what would you want to watch?
I grew up watching a lot of baseball.
Okay.
That was something I wanted to do as a kid that I never did. So I guess that would be more of a go-to just because that was something I did with one of my brothers growing up. So he's
play some catch, have
always
some fun.
been a big baseball fan. So like I grew up loving the sport to an extent because I'm not like, again, a big sport person. So I'm sure there's a lot of things about the sport itself that I don't know about. But I have another really close friend who grew up playing soccer, and I've always loved soccer just as the concept of it. So that would be probably my favorite sport, but I'm not like, oh, I need to watch soccer and go crazy for when they score. Oh, go! Like, yeah, no.
Ole, 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 ole.
Like, I've seen soccer games, but I've never I need to watch.
Soccer fans get crazy.
Like, I never watched. I need to watch this game. I got $50 riding on this team. I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah. We do have a question and some more questions here from the audience. We're going to go to another one from Guillermo, who asks, if you were the head of Lego licensing, what brand would you want to acquire that doesn't already exist?
What if they previously owned it?
Oh, and you want it back? I'll accept it.
Does Guillermo accept it?
I don't know.
When did he put this in?
I don't know, a while ago. So what license would you want to acquire or reacquire?
I have to answer it this way. I wanted Ninja Turtles to be a huge thing.
Okay, which Lego did have.
They had. I gotta be careful because I want to save this for later. I loved the 2012 series that Lego came out with. I really loved it, and if I were the CEO, I would want that to come back because I, as a fan, see a lot of potential with parts, figures, storytelling for that line. That specific Ninja Turtle line.
Okay.
And I'm going to cut it right there because I don't want to talk about it right now.
As a side note, he also throws there about Pokemon and says, do you want a shiny Butterfree in Pokemon Go?
Do I want one?
Do you want one? Maybe he's got one and he's got a way to share it with you.
Oh, I got one, but thank you.
We also have Adam on here who says, I found smaller collections sort by color, larger collections by part. If there is room, part, and then color. Good question. Yes. And I wholeheartedly agree with what Adam says there. That is also what I prefer to do too.
Okay.
Kurt has a follow-up question to your baseball, which is, which baseball team are you a fan of?
I don't have a preference. I'm sorry.
So, in other words, Dave's not a fan of baseball. Dave just likes baseball. There's a huge difference between, and I think you could agree, between liking and being a fan of a sport.
See, and that's another thing is I don't want to get into that. So I grew up watching the Cubs.
I'm
not a Cubs fan. I'm not sitting here like, oh God, I need to watch the Cubs. But the first game I ever went to, first time I ever got to see live baseball was seeing a Cubs game at Wrigley Field. So
unless it was against the Sox, it shouldn't count. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't want to get into that because I don't have a lot of background for me personally on baseball to have a backbone when it comes to rebuttaling or arguing about baseball because I don't really have enough experience. So it's not fair.
Okay. We're going to go back to some of our questions here. We've got, what is the longest it took you to build a set? And I would have to assume it would be a regular Lego set, not a mock. So what is the longest it took you to build a regular Lego set? I know one of them because I helped you build it, or you helped me build it.
Wait, what?
The set, one of our sets that we had on display here at the store.
Oh, okay. So for me, the longest amount of time I've put into a set, probably like 10 hours.
Was it the helicarrier? Or?
It was a helicarrier.
Okay.
I need to chime in on that though.
Okay.
When I bought the helicarrier, somebody had already purchased it, and I bought it from a toy fair. So whoever purchased it and had it, opened it, and then sorted it by color, not bag.
Oh,
so it was already opened, pre-owned. So I literally spent 10 to 11 hours
resorting it out and trying to find parts.
Resorting it and building it.
Okay.
And that's the UCS Marvel helicarrier.
Okay. I was going to say this. The one I was thinking of was when you and I built the Hogwarts Castle. That took about 7.5 to 8 hours.
That one
between the two of us, because it was times two. But you spent
time.
about 8 hours on the half.
Yeah, which is why I was not like frustrated because I've already had longer time.
Yeah.
As for a mock, the longest time I've spent working on a mock was probably 2 to 3 weeks on and off, not hour by hour. It was more like a few hours here, a few hours there.
Okay. Speaking of mocks, what is your approach to building a mock? So, like, where do you come up with the idea? How do you start? How do you get into the nitty gritty of starting a mock?
What's my goal?
And a mock, by the way, a mock is my own creation, so it's something that you personally create and come up with, and are building it freehand, essentially, or from a design, like a visual design that essentially does not have instructions for that Lego was giving you. So that's where the mocks come from. Just to clarify. So where would you start?
The question I would have for myself is, what is my goal? What is my end game? What do I want?
Mm-hmm.
How can I get this? Would be another question. How can I go from here to there? So, story behind that is I built my own version of the Hall of Armor for Iron Man.
Correct.
Never been built before. Nobody's been doing it that I've seen. Maybe little things here and there, but they've all been kind of like, I don't know. Everybody's got their own style of it. It's done definitely different ways. But so for me, like, I wanted a silo-based idea with it. So that came out. I got a whole bunch of them. I stacked them, built them, and Ryan Xme helped me here a little bit with it, to help some windows and stuff. And so the goal of it is just, I wanted it big enough to hold as much as I can in there, but I wanted it to be where if I can, to expand it, which is kind of funny too. So it was like, when I want to mock, it's like, what can I make this mock? Can I make something out of Lego that's never been done before or nobody's tried? And of course, that's something that everybody asks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, how original can I be?
Well, and it could be something that some other people have done, but you're just doing it a different way.
Yes. Again, the Hall of Armor has been done
Thousands of times. Yeah.
several times, very well, in that specific style that somebody has done it. So it all depends on what's my goal. What do I personally want as a fan or just as a Lego person? Like, what do I want? Can I make it? How long is it going to take? What color, etc.
Okay. One of the questions that was asked in our chat, but something that was also written down in ours, so we kept it here. What is one dream theme that you would want to be made? So if you could have any theme that made from anything, any other IP that's out there, what would it be? I guess that kind of goes along with sort of Guillermo's licensing question earlier too.
Yeah, it's the same, almost the same thing. But I mean, Lego's got a lot of themes right now that I wish could be expanded on in certain things. But then there's some themes that they've never done before that would be interesting if they would have done it.
Stuffy.
Yeah, that one's a toughie. Because I don't want to say Ninja Turtles again because that's not exactly true.
Well, this would be, I guess, would be more of something that hasn't been made yet.
Right. I want it to be like, oh, this would have been a cool thing if Lego got the license or if Lego just decided to do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Transformers would have been cool.
That's a good one. I'll accept that.
Creo did a really cool job with a lot of Transformers, old and new. But I feel like Lego would have had a different approach with it.
Okay.
Such as your Voltron here.
Yeah, Voltron's pretty dope. I love Voltron. I still want to make a Power Rangers version of Voltron here and make it old school
gotten Transformers at any generation, one Beast Wars, etc., and done something like this.
Yeah,
like the Lion scale, not the mech scale.
Yeah,
I think that would have been sweet.
Okay. Next one is actually going to be from looks like Ellie from Ellie Hammer is on here. She says, "Who is your least favorite Marvel superhero?
Hero or villain?
Question. Hero, superhero.
Okay, I gotta clarify.
Yeah. Least favorite
superheroes.
Least favorite superhero. Not anti-hero and not supervillain. Who is your least favorite superhero? And from Marvel superhero.
That's what she said?
Yeah.
Marvel. All right.
And I would have to imagine it could be anyone from Marvel, not just from the movies, because there's a lot of hundreds, if not thousands, of Marvel characters out there.
Hundreds. Like all-time favorite? Or all-time worst?
Least favorite.
I guess one of my least favorites would be the Garbage Man, I think is what he's called. Or I forget his name, but he's like a big yellow fat slime character that has like robotic legs and arms like that come out the back. I don't really care for that. Like if Lego made it, cool. It's just another character. I'm happy with that. But personally, I just don't care for that character. It just doesn't look that great to me. It's like, shouldn't he be in Ghostbusters or something? Like, I don't know.
All right.
Voice my opinion on a least favorite superhero, but that's a villain, so that doesn't exactly answer the question.
So I know this is probably going to come up in your new segment that we're going to be doing. What is your opinion between stickers and printed parts? Stickers versus printed parts, or decals versus printed parts?
if the decal can be made, if it can be printed instead of, I'm gonna take a step back.
Take a breath.
If you could print it out as a sticker, you might as well just print it on a brick or something. Don't waste your time printing stickers out. Print it on bricks.
So if you can print it on a brick, print it on a brick.
If it's a sticker, it should be a brick or something instead.
So in other words, print everything.
I'm fine with stickers. I have a lot of extra stickers. I'm fine with putting them on.
Now, since we do another stream called Mox in Motion with Joe, Mr. Dorsey over at Unilog, which you are also
the stickers.
You are also the vice president of. Joe hates decals,
stickers.
So how do you feel about people with Joe's situation, where in this case everything would be printed, so he's stuck using it? So if you're saying print everything, now he's stuck with 20 parts that are all printed.
So what? That just creates more opportunity to build things. That helps you incorporate those bricks into other builds, expanding them.
Interesting.
Unless you were actually brick building a TV, a camera.
We happen to have this lovely little Technic RC racer here. So what if you had, like, say for instance, this side over here with the 80 that was printed on here? How could you use that in another set? How would you utilize that in another set if it was printed?
Gas station.
Okay. It does say high octane and manifold, whatever on there. Okay. Some branding. Okay. That could work for like
spray paint on the wall. You could use that piece to Technic build a wall.
A curved wall.
On a certain angle.
Okay.
Could be part of a truck. Spray painting on a truck or a train.
Okay. Fair enough.
There's opportunity in printed brick as there are brick that's not printed that you can incorporate a sticker on. It's overall the same concept.
Okay.
If you could put a sticker on the brick, you might as well just print that same thing on the brick, so we have it with a sticker, without a sticker, or with a print, without a print.
Okay. Lego mosaics. What is your advice on making them? What size plate would you use? And would you do 1x1s or whatever size brick you need to fill the space? Because sometimes there are other bricks like 2x4s or 1x4s or
I guess
something like that, or 2x2 quarter bricks that would work.
I guess if you want to get it done, if you really don't want to put too much time into it, utilize whatever bricks and colors fill the gap. I like 1x1s as bricks, not plates. I think that's a great way to make a mosaic. But I feel that using plates and tiles, there's a little bit more creativity there because they're smaller, because it's more to work with.
Okay.
It's not as filling, I guess you could say. As for a plate size, go big or go home.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fair enough. We've seen some pretty big, impressive mosaics.
I like big mosaics. I've seen some really cool.
Some movie poster size mosaics.
Cheese wedges, where
cheese wedges.
One thing and then another thing.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, the double-sided ones. Those are cool.
So
much harder to build.
Yes.
By the way, than just doing one.
More creativity, more of a challenge. When it's just a 1x1 or whatever brick fills the gaps, it's like, why are you doing this? I could take a picture of that right now and just call it a day. There it goes on the wall.
Yeah.
True
story. We have a question from Ellie, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on this. Who asks, what is your favorite Lego piece? So what is your favorite Lego
element? I like
element?
Parts where it's inverted with the studs inside. So the
inverted.
So like the tile with the 4 studs in it. I like that.
So you like the inverted plates?
I like the inverted plates where it's like tile flat, no reverse stud or anti-stud.
Yeah.
And then there's a stud built in because then you could fill the gap.
So I'm going to go off of this question as well. And it's something that we actually asked a lot of the Lego Masters contestants. So If you were to name a brick after yourself that you use all the time, what element would it be?
I was wondering if you could ask me this. I was kind of wanting you to.
So if you were going to call it the David brick or the Kravitz brick,
Not the Kravitz brick.
which one would it be? What element would it be? What do you use all the time, and especially, I guess, in your mocks, especially your mechs, your mocked mechs?
Probably those same parts. Like, because right now there's two main parts with the tiles and the studs built inside that I really like.
But which part do you use the most between all your builds?
Probably that 2x2 plate with the studs on the inside, the tile.
Okay.
I really like that. I still have like
A little bag or tub
a
of
little
them?
bag of dark bluish gray 2x2s.
Okay.
I just don't like this whole. I don't like all this. Like when I build a ship or something, like
You want it flat on the bottom.
and if you ask me this, which you might, swishability when you're swishing it around, and I'll look under it as it's flying over. Like I don't want to see.
It does get kind of annoying when you see
all this. It's fine to an extent, but if it's like a vehicle where like that could be covered up and be more slick.
And okay, so here's a follow-up question to that then. So you're talking about ships and swishability. You don't like the anti-studs at the bottom of bricks and plates. What if it was all studs out on all four sides?
I would still have to tile up a majority of it. So this is.
So you would do studs out but tile it over.
Yes, to an extent, because I do like studs out. It's
Stud showing.
The greebling effect it has is really cool. And I mean, all right. So you see how the Voltron set is here with the legs. See how it's
I can't see it. There you go.
Like tile, and then there's 4 studs. So those 4 studs here kind of give it that other effect, that other style of what this is doing. So I love this part right here. I love this part.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite parts.
So this is the part that, here, you want to hold up again real quick? So this is the part that you were,
here, let me
get it out of your face.
So it's studs on the inside, tile on the back.
Hold on 1 second. It's trying to trying to focus past you here and not on your hand. Hello, hand.
Hello.
It doesn't want to see the back. It's just flat on the back. We'll just go with that.
It's a tile. I really love those. I know Lego's probably not going to do a lot with that concept. They're doing a little bit, but I don't know. There's something about.
Whoop, man down.
There's something about like having Lego stand out where it's Lego, but also having that like
Finished, polished look.
Yes, almost like a model or another toy or a race car, like a real life thing.
Kurt put up here, says, I thought he would have had said horns or spikes because you'd use a lot of them on your mechs, like with the ribs and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's a good observation, Kurt. Good observation. Ellie also asks, what is your favorite Lego modular set or expert creator set?
Oof.
So if you're not into the knowledge, all those right behind Dave there, those are the expert creator sets, also known as modulars, because all the floors come apart.
My like current or overall right now?
Any set, any modular that's been released. We'll view on some of our modulars there. We got the corner garage, the Parisian, and the Grand Emporium. You just go back. So what would be your favorite modular? You've helped me build and take apart quite a few. You also own, yeah. You own the theater.
One of them is that one right there.
You've got the Parisian and the Palace Theater.
Mm-hmm. I really want the Brick Bank because it goes next door to the detective agency.
Yes.
I really like the detective agency. There's something very old 1920, 1930 essence to it. Because it's a single guy with a coworker, like a host, a desk host.
Mm-hmm.
And he solves mysteries or whatever. I really like that set just for the sheer fact of the detective part. I really like that. So I guess right now that would probably be my favorite because I've always wanted that set, and the fact that I was able to get it here, besides on a good deal, I really like that one. The barbershop is kind of cool because I don't know the concept behind a barbershop, the meaning behind a barbershop is kind of cool. So it's a really nice one, and I like the fact that there's like a little pool table at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bar or anything. It's
just a pool table. Just shoot some pool.
Go in there, a couple people, 1 or 2 teams, play some pool, call it a day.
Okay. What is the one set that got away? So what set was it that you really, really wanted or you got really close to getting and it slipped right through your fingers and got away?
Recently, it was the Brick Bank. But
do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, 2 different people agreed to give it to me.
What do you mean give it to you?
I would buy it.
Sell it to you.
Sell it to me. Let me have it.
So 2 people agreed to sell you a Brick Bank.
And then at the last minute, both of them were like, oh, it's sold. It's not good
business practice.
Yep. I was trying to figure out
I got you. I think that's going to be another part of your what breaks David's bricks there.
Yeah,
he's mentally adding a whole list here.
This
folks.
is why I want to write down everything I could possibly think of, and then throw in a few each time I do it, because then I could really elaborate why that thing breaks my brick.
Okay. So we're getting into the nitty gritty here now, or at least some of the nitty gritty here. Let's go to this first. What have you learned about running a business now that you've been here for 2 years, and sort of kind of apprenticing and try to learn how the whole retail thing is? Because you didn't really done retail before. You've done party stuff before. You've done food before, but you haven't really done. Okay.
So to clarify, my first job was at a grocery store. So
that's right. You were at the
I worked
place.
at Jewel Osco.
Yes.
So I know retail to an extent. I know stocking and going through deliveries.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked at 3 different warehouses.
Mm-hmm.
Not worth it, my opinion. I'm really good with people. And that's not being cocky or anything. Maybe I shouldn't have used that word.
Okay.
But there's just something to me when it comes to customer service that I am very natural with.
Okay. But what have you learned about running a business since you've been here?
Okay. So over time, I've learned, not just from being here, I've learned that the rule for a customer being always right to an extent is true, depending on how you yourself are running the business.
Okay.
That's my idea when it comes to that.
Sure.
I've learned more about prioritizing what's worth getting done and what needs to be getting done. Almost 2 different things. Could be the same thing.
Yeah.
All debatable.
Yeah.
I've learned on how frustrating it could be when it comes to paperwork and some things, like when we're doing our trades and there's miscommunication with a customer, or maybe we messed up. Maybe
it does happen. Everybody makes mistakes.
I myself paid too much for this. And to clarify, I've noticed over the past 2 years that my base number for bringing in something is like 70 range, which is really odd. I don't know why I do that, but I've come across that so many times. It's like, why is that a number for me?
It all depends on what's coming in, because of course,
Maybe it's just coincidental.
we are a resale store, so
Yeah.
we do get lots of different minifigures and sets. So
But
of course, you're gonna have different things that come in.
I knew ahead of time before you hired me on like what the overall responsibility is of running a shop to owning it. It's very different.
It is different.
So, I had a slip up when I first started, and that was a huge slap to my face, because it's like I personally knew better. But part of it was also very overwhelming, given the status right there. So it was a very like 50-50 learn experience. Like I already knew, but then I should have been better. I definitely have learned that when it comes to being a boss, relatable, because I'm not strictly a boss.
You are. You're the boss.
Right.
You're just not in charge of hiring and firing.
Yes, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not strictly a boss. I'm relatable to a boss, because there's only so much I do right now. What I'm getting at is I've learned that anything could happen at that point.
I mean, we're living at one of those anythings right now, aren't we?
Right, which is part of the reason why I've been here so much, is that's given me an opportunity to learn in this time, because you yourself have no idea how this was going to go.
Or how long.
And you're literally just coasting right now. Not that you're doing great, and it sucks that I have to say that, but it hurts me for that extent, because I'm here with you almost the whole time.
What Dave's referring to right now is, of course, we've been closed for coming up on almost 2 months now, and we're almost just barely paying rent. So Dave has been volunteering his hours and stuff, along with Becca and some of our other staff members, like Andrew coming in yesterday, to kind of help bring all of you guys some entertainment and some fun to watch and to interact with, because we don't want you guys to be bored and stuff either.
Community service.
There you go.
Because when I say community service, I have to make sure I say respectable, because a lot of times when people are like, "Oh, you're doing community service, what'd you do wrong?"
Yeah, no, we are doing a service to the community. We're helping.
So that's
maintain
why
mentality.
I make sure that people know I'm respectively doing it, because it's like I don't have to, but I respectfully want to give kids and adults something to do.
Yeah.
If I can do so. So that's why I've been doing this.
Okay.
That's the overall reason.
So what's one takeaway so far from being a supervisor?
Be prepared and expect the unexpected.
Very well said. Very well said. Okay.
And I'm not just saying that to
but
it's legit.
And you're never prepared enough. No matter how much you try, you're already missing something.
I had a customer before all this happened. I had a customer come in, and there was miscommunication. I don't know what happened. So I talked to her on the phone. She was like, okay, very new. She didn't know how this was going to work. And I explained, hey, build the set at home, bring it in. We'll see what we could do. So she came in on a busy day. I got parties going on. I got customers in the shop. Like I can't help her like I want to. It also did not help that I didn't have any papers printed. And she did not know that was one of the things involved with a trade. That if I agree to it with her, she has to sign something. That person has to sign
we have legal documentation to prove that set is given to us for a certain amount of money.
Yes. It's a legal document stating I give you permission to take this for this amount.
Yes.
So she was very upset. She was like, I didn't know. I was never told this. Like, this is not how you run a business, blah, blah, blah. And I was just, I don't know. I was kind of like.
You got the business end of that.
Yeah, I got literally the business end of that, because it's like, I'm the one who talked to her. Clearly, I didn't explain enough when I had talked to her the one or two times, or clearly she didn't comprehend what I was saying to an extent of when she came in was like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. But another part of that is I probably should have checked with you, of course, if we had everything set, if we had papers for this, napkins for this, etc. So that part is definitely on me because I could have checked. I didn't realize till I looked, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Which happens.
Things happen.
I'm sorry.
We're working on it. there's always room for improvement with that.
I wasn't rude to her or anything.
Right.
I wanted her to come back, and I wanted things to be differently, and she was furious, and she left. And I felt bad for her kid because I talked to them. I was like, look, I'm very happy that you did this. I'm glad that you built this and spent time. That's great. And it looks great. Like, it looks what I could think of the value. Or it looks worth it enough for me to put a value in it. So I felt bad for him. And he's not too young of a kid. He's a bit older. Yeah. But I still was like a little disappointed.
We've got Ellie who says on here, she says, wow, that is so generous of you guys. Thank you all for coming in and volunteering your hours. She also asks, what is your favorite collectible minifig series? So I would assume that would include all 20 regular series, the sports series. I mean, we have a whole what we refer to. What we refer to over here is the minifig Bible for a collectible series.
There's a soccer series that
there is.
Yeah, there's one or two.
There's a couple Olympic series.
Yeah, there's an Olympic series.
There's all 20 collectible series. There's 2 Simpsons series.
2 Simpsons
that's
series.
Harry Potter.
2 Batman series.
2 Batman
Harry
series.
Potter.
Yep.
There's no Marvel.
DC superheroes. So what's your favorite CMF
what
series?
What breaks my bricks? Man, do I got topics.
You better be writing this down somewhere. You're going to forget all about them. And
I don't forget about it. I think about it daily. Trust me.
So what's your favorite CMF line? I've got 3 more questions for you. Unless any of you have questions at home, make sure you guys please comment those into the comment section of either YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. And if you want to join us live and talk to David or myself, you may hop on the link that we sent earlier.
I promise it's not being biased. I promise it's not the case. I really loved Batman Series 2.
It was funny. It was good. They did a good job.
Batman Series 1 was cool. They did some things that were kind of funny, but then they also created a couple characters that I never thought I would see, such as the Eraser. That was funny. It's a funny character from the OG Batman.
Yep.
But the second series for Lego Batman, that was a total surprise. I wouldn't have ever thought we were going to get a second one so soon to the movie. Like, I was very happy with the first one. And the second one has several figures in there, such as Hugo Strange.
Awesome.
Mad scientist guy.
Yep.
That I loved so much. That was one of the hardest figures to find. Stupid beard. Stupid beard was the problem.
He had a crazy beard, yes, the gray beard.
There was a couple other characters, such as Black Canary, that I was like, yes, this is a figure I want. So that is probably one of my favorite series.
So Batman Series 2. All right.
It's not being biased, I promise.
So we're going to have a couple questions here revolving around what you used to do. So you originally went to school for culinary arts. What was your dream job during that time when you were going to school for culinary arts? What would you have wanted to do? Was it your ultimate goal?
I would have liked to own a restaurant. Not a big one. Not something that was like, oh my God, go to Luigi's and get this. Well, I didn't want something like that. I wanted something more family, more like a diner.
Okay.
Like a quick stop kind of ordeal. Maybe not a quick stop, because I would like people to
stick around.
Kind of like if you're going to a bar and you're there for like 3 hours talking to the bartender.
Drink coffee, get more desserts.
Yeah. Like something behind the overall concept of a little like family-owned, original, not commonplace. That's something I wanted to do. And I personally wanted to do it where there was a lot of foods that people with Crohn's and colitis could have without an issue.
That would be a good idea.
That was my goal. And there's more to that to elaborate.
Okay. We'll have to talk about it later because I know we're getting a little tight on time here.
How much time will we?
We're about an hour 40 already.
All right. We got time.
So being in culinary arts, what got you out of culinary arts and into retail?
Well, I was in retail in and out.
Okay.
Because I was working at Jewel prior to me graduating high school. And then I had worked several restaurants, warehouses, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Plus some side jobs like shoveling snow and whatever.
Odd jobs.
Worked for a bit.
Yeah.
Right people. So the whole thing with culinary, I had no issue with. For the most part, I kind of understood what was going on with it, you know, in ingredients, cost and portions, etc. There was a lot of that I really understood. But then me personally, it was kind of rough for me in school growing up. And school was not, I don't know, it wasn't great.
Okay.
Or let me phrase it. It was great, yes. Overall, it was great. Of course, learned a lot from teachers and students growing up in school. But as I got into college, there was something missing. I wasn't happy.
Okay.
So I went for probably about 2 years at most. I know it shows a little bit differently in the records. Whatever, it's like a year and a half on the records.
Okay.
But I wasn't happy.
Okay.
What is it? Not season, semester. The last semester I was in, I literally pushed to get, you know, good grades, to learn what I could learn and to be, you know, not on top, but up there. And finals came and everything, and there's some trouble, and I didn't get the grades that I thought I was going to get.
Okay.
And I'm not talking like straight A's.
I'm
talking like maybe a few more B's here than a D here or C there.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
So college was not for you, but maybe if it was more of a cooking school specifically, you might have done better.
It's funny because before I went to community college at JJC, I looked into Cordon Bleu. But that is such a big school. Like there's so much when it comes to Cordon Bleu. So I went in there. There's one in Chicago.
Yes,
one or two locations in Chicago. And I went to the main one and I got a tour and it was very overwhelming. Obviously
too big for you.
Well, I don't know. I think I would have been all right. But it was probably best that I went to community college. And I mean, JJC had one of the best culinary programs around. Some of the best,
especially cost relatable. Yeah.
Cost, the chefs alone, some of the best people, like really, really cool people. Like they were strict, but they were also like, they're funny. They had some good, personalities, which is funny because when it comes to culinary arts, personality is a big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for the time I had with culinary arts, but overall, I wasn't happy with the ending that I was at. And all I was doing, I went home, I went to school, maybe I was out here and there, but I was trying to focus more in school, and there wasn't any like personal relatability. There wasn't like, oh, I go to class, I sit next to this guy or this girl or something like that. I didn't really have any of that. So it was it just wasn't there for me.
Let down for you. Yeah.
Because I'm a people person, and to not have multiple people in a thing that I'm doing as encouragement.
Kurt's got a good follow-up question here real quick. What is your favorite dish that you learned how to make in culinary school, and do you still make it?
I can't exactly answer that because a lot of it was base.
Like how to make like certain soup bases, stuff like that.
Bases, like
broth versus creams.
Right.
Like
mirepoix and like cuts and stuff. Cuts aren't that bad. It's just put in the time. It's the same thing like riding a bike. You put in the time, you're going to get the cuts you want. If you just
hacking away,
slice it, they're not gonna.
It's usually how I make my food. Just cut, take out.
So
you need a cube, it's fine. Just
there was a lot of There was a lot of base things that I still kind of remember. I remember a lot of stuff when it comes to cost and portions, which was one of the last classes I had.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome teacher. So many stories he had about like shopping for food and going to markets and dealing with different restaurants and bars. Like, awesome guy. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. I'm sure I have it in my records, but
somewhere.
Awesome guy. I don't have a favorite dish that I remember
making from school?
There because my time was short.
Yeah.
I only had like a year and a half, and a lot of it was gen eds. It was English, math, etc.
Yeah, and then getting out some of the classes and stuff done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish there was more. Like I did a baking class, I did a regular cooking class, and then I did a cost and portion. So those 3 classes alone were the ones where I did more hands-on.
Yeah.
To an extent.
So let's see. Okay, so Lou, what's up, Lou? How are you doing, dude? Our buddy Lou Leonardo over here asks, more importantly, what's your favorite dish to eat? Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned that earlier, right? Your favorite entree,
but
I guess this is kind of a dish, so maybe it's anything you want in between. Maybe it's an appetizer, maybe it's something else. What's your favorite dish? That's a good question, Lou.
All right, so this isn't really specifying what.
And Lou, we miss you. You need to hit us up so we can hang out.
This isn't really specifying a favorite dish, but I can tell you I love baked goods.
Okay, cookies, cakes,
pies, cookies,
brownies.
I'm a big cheesecake person.
Oh, okay.
Sara Lee cheesecake. I'll eat a whole
Danishes,
pastries, donuts. I'm a big.
What's your favorite donut?
I got 2.
Okay.
You know one of them, which is the jelly-filled Bismarck, is what it's called.
Okay.
It's called the Bismarck. Strawberry or raspberry jelly.
Okay.
Strawberry probably is my preference. But I really like toasted coconut. Dunkin' Donuts stopped doing it.
Well, Donut Dan located right here in
Joliet. Donuts. That's
what bites my donuts.
Yeah.
Bites my donuts and breaks my bricks. So there you go, Lou. Let's see. Ellie also asks, what is your favorite Ninja Turtle set? Lego set. Good question,
Leonardo
Ellie.
versus Karai.
Leonardo versus Karai.
It was a $12 set. Came with a little newspaper stand.
Let me guess, it had Leonardo and Karai in it?
Yep. Karai was on a black motorcycle with like a blaster on the front of it, and Leonardo's all beat up. My favorite version of Leonardo is all beat up and ready, or already ready in a battle. And Karai is a very important character for me when it comes to Leonardo.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of character build when it comes to both of them.
Yeah. Okay. So, if any of you guys are at home watching right now, like we said, we're interviewing David, our store supervisor here, for our Meet the Bam Fam segment. If you guys have any last-minute questions, please let us know in the chat, or if you would like to join us, please let me know. There's a link here that you can join and talk to us live. On the flip side of that, I do have our big bomb question here to ask Dave. So, David, the big bomb question. What does Lego do for you as a person?
Okay.
Why do you build Lego? What do you get out of building with Lego?
While I'm thinking about this just a little bit, I'm checking to make sure nobody posted up anything.
You're good. There's there's some other questions here from Guillermo, but he's mostly asking about more superhero stuff.
3099. I don't know about this question here.
Yeah, it's about the Avengers thing. Yeah.
Avengers 3099.
I was just trying to stick away for a little bit too much from superheroes since we talked a lot about superheroes already.
Not really. We could talk about
not enough. You can get your own show. So what does Lego do for you as a person?
All right. So I kind of need to be more like personal, and I would have to answer this a bit long.
That's okay.
Because this is a good question. This is a very personal thing for me. So
This should be personal for everybody.
okay, to an extent, but then you have some people who collect Lego just for the sheer value of it and
No,
not for
True.
other purposes.
I've got a feeling though that most people that are true fans
Yes,
have real reasons.
but there are some that aren't.
So what does Lego mean to you?
So
Sorry, quick upside here. Lou says, speaking as a Leonardo, I approve of that turtle chosen. Guess you picked Leonardo versus Karai.
this used to have Leonardo's name on it. And
now
what's
it's
funny,
just empty.
It's funny. There's a little rip in here too, and
It's all beat up, just like the Leo
still
from the
holds
set.
together,
Poor Leo.
which is funny because Raphael's the one who's got the crack in the shell.
right.
All right. So for me personally, when it comes to Lego, it is by far one of my best ways to take a break from reality.
Okay.
Not escaping, not ignoring what goes on in reality, but taking a step back and maybe focusing on something I want to build, or maybe a scene I would like to do with characters, or maybe a part I want to fix. It gives me a chance to use Lego as a way to fix a problem because there's control there.
Okay.
When it comes to a lot of life-based things that happen in one's world, growing up, Lego was something that I had control over 100%. If I wanted a part to go here, it goes there.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted it in this color, maybe it's limited to a certain color, so I had to change my idea just a little bit. Maybe there's a figure I want has never been made before, and so maybe I'll buy a $2-3 one to place hold it. So it's all about how I could reanalyze a situation I'm going through or have gone through.
Mm-hmm.
It allows me to expand my memory, know certain techniques and styles, but then it allows me to express myself because there's a lot when it comes to just the superhero themes that I like. It allows me to pick and choose what of those universes I like specifically and stood out for me as a person growing up. You know, why I like these characters or these stories so much, or the concept. So it's about how that helps me as a person in my daily life.
Okay.
Which is why almost on a daily I am doing at least one thing with Lego. Because it's a natural thing. It's become a habit, essentially. But it's a good habit to be. It's a good habit to have, but it's also not to the point where it's like addicting. Like I have control.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not buying every single set I see that I like. I buy what works.
Yeah.
What can I do more with the one set than I am? I'm gonna get 5 sets and do one thing with. So it's how I can adapt to the world. That's my takeaway when it comes to Lego. And one of the questions was, how do I see Lego evolving? That wasn't exactly asked to me.
Yeah, that was an Andrew question from yesterday. It was a big question for later too. Yeah.
It's a base question. Even though Andrew was the first person to get it, it's a
Well,
base question.
it was a question that he asked for me, and then he threw it in.
Yeah. So I see Lego evolving as the world evolves. So I am going to evolve with what Lego brings to the table and how the world works for me.
Okay.
So that's 2 answers.
All right. So, does anyone else have any questions for David while we have him here? We've got a few more minutes to ask any last-minute questions, preferably not revolving around superheroes if we could avoid it for right now because there's a lot going on. Okay, here's a long one here, so we'll see what this is about here. So keep an eye on this, Dave. Guillermo says, in an ever-increasingly digital age and with the advent of social media and things becoming more streamable and watchable than ever, how do you feel that technology is affecting us socially and emotionally? That's totally not a Lego question, but it's a good question.
That's really good.
So how do you feel technology is affecting us socially and emotionally?
These are the kind of questions I definitely want more of too with this.
Gotta get deep.
So I'm fine talking about Lego, no problem. But when it comes to stuff like this, like I can give more to it. All right, so me personally, I don't think technology is a bad thing. In my entire life, up to date, I believe that in some way or form, technology is a huge advantage to us adapting and evolving, because you can only go so far with a stick and a rock. Mm-hmm. I do agree to an extent that when it comes to technology, it can be too much of a takeaway from what goes on in real life. So I'm watching a show right now. It's almost over. Currently, there's a technology advantage being given to the world that allows people to escape because reality themselves is too much for them. So they put it on, they use it. It's kind of like a form of AR.
Mm-hmm. Good old augmented reality.
That's kind of where I draw the line. AR is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But when you are specifically and purposely going after technology way more to take you away from the world and you breathing on a daily, that's a problem.
So you're talking more like Ready Player One, where almost everybody is in that virtual space instead of living life the way that they're supposed to.
Yes. I like AR. There's a lot of things I like when it comes to stories behind AR, whether it's shows, books, etc. But honestly, I feel that if the goal for AR is not logical and realistic, literally realistic, such as when you're playing a video game and you want to walk up a hill and then you can't. Why not? Why can't I walk up this hill right now? It's on a good angle. I can take a couple steps. Except you're playing a video game and you just
it's an invisible wall.
Into it. Stupid. I get technology can only go so far when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're going to have technology in your life, use it to the advantages it should be for, and don't take advantage of it for what it is and create it to be like a drug, a bad drug, an addiction. So for me, I got a smartphone. You see me checking it here and there as I'm talking to you. Okay, but I grew up not having a smartphone.
Right.
I grew up not having a phone. I grew up like, hey, I'm gonna go to my friend's house, 3 miles away, 2 blocks away, whatever. Call that house to see if I'm there. If I'm not there, I mean, I'm coming back here. I don't know. I'm walking and biking. I don't have a car.
Yeah.
So I don't have to have technology in my life, but I love it. I'm glad that for me as a person, I could wrap my mind around adapting with the world. Because if you don't go anywhere, if you don't run with the world, then you're not going anywhere. If you don't go with the Earth's rotations, might as well just dig yourself a grave and sit there for the ride.
Okay. So there you go. So thank you, David, for hanging out with us tonight and getting those questions answered. You got moved up a few days, just 3. So thank you for coming in, sir. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I want to do more of this. Like,
some more talking, some more hanging.
I'm an open book. So like you and Becca have talked about doing a blog.
Yep.
Andrew
Sure.
was talking about yesterday after his thing that he would like to do like a weekly thing, answer a couple questions here and there. You guys want to ask me stuff? Ask me stuff. I'll tell you exactly what you want to hear, and not because you want to hear something. Like, I will be honest. I'll answer your question.
All right.
Want to know stuff about me?
I've got one last question for you. This is going to be the last question because this is going to make you think a little bit here. This one also comes from Guillermo here and says, with the multiverse theory, it I don't know.
No.
It basically posts the idea that we have infinite possible current universes happening simultaneously. If you were told that you could switch to a better timeline, would you? And if you did, and what would you want to be different? And what would you stay the same? Or do you think the original reality is the best option? So if you could choose a better one, what would you want different? What would you want the same? And if, or do you think that staying in the original reality, which is the one we're currently in, is the best?
Time travel and the multiverse are almost.
We're not talking time. We're not talking time travel.
But he said in there.
No, just the fact that everything is happening simultaneously. Everything's happening at the same time.
Right, but he asked if you can go into a different time.
No. If you could just a better timeline, so it's not another universe. So if you could switch to a better universe, would you? And
so if I made a choice, all right.
So if you made a
choice,
if you made a choice to go to another universe that was quote unquote better,
no, that's not what I'm saying.
What would you change, and what would you have different, or would you stay with the original reality as the best option? So stay where you are, or go to a quote unquote better one, in which some things would be changed, and some things would be the same. And he was asking, what would you change? This is a big philosophy question, sort of. Guillermo's going to turn this into a 4-hour show just for this question. I'm just kidding.
Well, I was expecting this to be over 2 hours for myself. I'm not trying to favorite myself. I'm just saying. See, that's a lot to go through. Because generally, when it comes down to that theory of the multiverse, or if you make a choice sometime in your life that ends up affecting your future in a big way.
Which, if you follow the butterfly effect, everything does.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many different theories on time and multiverse, and if I make this choice, this could or could not happen. It's all, there's so many different variables. There's no specific thing on that.
So would you go to a better one and change things? Or would you stay the same?
Well, if I went to a better one, wouldn't those things already be changed because I was?
Well, you got to choose what it was.
All right. So if I had a choice to be in a different time growing up and have different things happen to me, no. Because just to answer that part, making the choices I've made up to date cannot guarantee me as a person or anybody else as a person in their choices that those same outcomes or different outcomes would be best suitable for you. What do you really learn from that? If you could go back in time, if you could make a different choice, if you could tell your younger self what you know
Don't
now.
do this.
No, don't do that.
So, do you change or stay the same?
Yes, there were some things. There is some things, of course, I would like to change, as every human being wants. It's a very natural thing. No, I wouldn't change it. I would not make the choice to live in a different time,
Different universe.
a different timeline, a different world than I'm in now. Similar, different, etc.
All right. So he's sticking to it, folks.
Because there's no guarantee on a lot of that stuff, and the things you know now, the things you've learned now, there's no guarantee or backup.
Right.
It's not a computer.
Perfect. Yeah.
Something gets
there's
deleted.
There's always a choice.
Right. If something gets deleted on a computer, does not mean it is 100% deleted. There is a way to get it back.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Your life don't work that way. Your life don't work that way.
Now we're blending philosophy with technology, as many things do.
Not yet.
So of course, so thank you to Dave for joining us today. We're at about our cutoff time here. Thank you for everybody who joined us. Make sure you guys check out our stream tomorrow night, in which we will be interviewing Miss Becca over here. She is our part-timer and head party hostess, technically. She's going to be on with us tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So it's going to be Meet the Bam Fam with Becca tomorrow. Then, of course, she is the only female. So start thinking up your questions now, as we want to make sure that we get a lot of good questions in tomorrow. And, of course, as she was our co-host, my co-host for Battle of the Brains, and the idea creator behind that stream and this one, of course. Please come up with some awesome questions to ask her during her stream tomorrow. We hope a lot of you guys join. And of course, as we said at the beginning of the stream here, we do have Brickworld, which is doing their virtual con on Saturday. That is this Saturday from 11 to 5. Tickets are $9 here for a device in which your entire family could be on there. We have there's about 15 of the Lego Masters that are going to be available for that, for questions, along with lots of different displays, some robot racing and competition and stuff like that as well, some at-home classes, some tutorials, and a lot of different presentations, including a Smurf Village that is all going to be part of that as well. And they're doing 4 of them this year in makeup of Brickworld Chicago, which was canceled due to the COVID-19. But we are a sponsor and an advertiser for them. So we are trying to get as many people over there as they can. I think it's about 2,000 people that they're bringing in for that event. You could do one of them for $9 or $9 each, or $27 gets you access to all 4. So you get one for free if you do all 4 of those. It's going to be May, July, October, and December for those streams. So again, that's 11 to 5 this Saturday. And of course, stay tuned to us tomorrow as I get to interview Becca, our part-timer and head party hostess, right here at 5 o'clock. It will be, of course, available on Facebook and our YouTube channel. So thank you to everybody who has been watching us, especially on YouTube. We've been trying to get those hours in to go live with you guys mobile, which includes all of our outside of store events as well. So, Dave, do you have anything else you want to add at all to that, or are you pretty good?
I mean, you having trouble there?
No, I'm good. I'm just having trouble. There it goes.
So you are having trouble?
Anything you want to add?
I'm definitely excited for all these virtual things we're going to have for Brickworld, considering we won't have a physical one this year.
I know. But I do appreciate Mark, Kathy, and Brian. They did a great job getting everything set up and trying to maintain it. But of course, we know now this whole thing might be moving into June, and we might not be able to get out till July. I don't want to say that. It hurts. It hurts me.
I'm sure we'll find out how they're progressing things as they've been doing it. For those of you who didn't get to tune in with us, I personally would love if you had some questions for me to ask later in a different video.
Yeah, or just send them to us via message and we can just respond back to you that way.
Via message me, and I would love to answer the questions live, so that way other people could hear the question and answer, such as what we did tonight.
Yeah.
I really appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. I could go on longer, no problem. But again, if we could do it on other days, as other segments, let's do it. I'm down. You want to know more about me or how I work with Ryan or what I do outside of work?
Yeah.
Ask me. I'll tell you. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow as I interview Becca. Make sure you guys check out Brickworld's virtual con at brickworld.com. Under the conventions tab, you just pick out which one you want to attend or view in this case. I know that it greatly appreciated as well because there's going to be a lot of people that are on there. Almost all the LEGO Masters contestants are going to be on there. Our friends, as David said earlier, Boone and Mark. We've got Sam and Jessica. We've got Jermaine. We've got Mel. We've got Manny. We've got there's a lot of people that are going to be on there. And of course, a lot of them were going to actually be at Brickworld this year, which we were really, really, really excited for, weren't we, Dave? We were like super stoked that we got to see some of our friends again, and of course, some of our new friends. So just keep an eye out on that, and make sure you guys check us out tomorrow. Like and share this video if you can. And of course, if you're on YouTube, make sure you guys like that video and hit that bell to subscribe to us for all future videos that are coming up. And then after Becca tomorrow, we will hopefully get Riley in here if he's feeling better on Thursday. If not, we might just take a day off. And then Becca will be able to, Becca's going to come in and interview me on Friday. So make sure you guys get those questions ready for Becca tomorrow. I want to hear a lot of them from you guys. We're coming up with a lot of more on our end too. So
if Riley can't do it this week, maybe Thursday I could just do my first thing for.
And do your first what breaks Dave's bricks?
Right, as an intro video.
Okay, so hopefully we'll know by tomorrow, and we'll be able to let everybody know that way.
If not, we can start next week, or we get probably next week.
Probably next week.
But if Riley can't come in Thursday, I wouldn't mind doing an intro video, at least giving a nice little background to what I plan on doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it from us over here at Bricks and Minifigs. Thank you again, Dave, for coming in, hanging out with me today. I'm sure we didn't exactly have this planned until last night because we had to hear back from Riley.
Yeah, we got sideswiped, but
Riley, if you are watching this by any chance, we hope you feel better and hope you're doing well. And hopefully everything works out for the best. Just let us know. Keep us in touch. And Becca, if you or your mom are watching, which I'm surprised I haven't seen either of them in the chat today.
I didn't see them on. I wish Joe would have been on.
Joe mentioned Joe was on earlier.
Oh, he was?
He was mentioning just about the audio, though. He didn't really have any questions.
Oh.
Yeah, he was yelling at me.
He could ask me anytime.
He was yelling about me that my audio was out when it died.
Oh, okay. It would have been nice to hear from other people like Lars and his dad. It would have been cool to hear from, and some other people we get in.
Yeah. So, so just make sure you guys get those questions to us. If you guys have any for Becca, we're going to post those up. Our stream link here shortly, so you guys can even start throwing in comments of questions now. And then, of course, if you've met her, she is the only lady that works here on a day-to-day basis, sort of, with the exception of my wife, who is an owner and works at home all the time. So maybe we'll have some questions for her too. Maybe we'll throw some in for Sarah at home. So thank you very much for joining us. We've been having a good time with this, and thank you guys so much for participating and asking questions. But we would really, really, especially for tomorrow, like some people to join us live on video chat.
Yeah,
and have some conversations.
Nobody joined me live.
Yeah, we only had Guillermo yesterday.
Well, I mean, he's busy with work.
He is busy, and he's probably at work, so we're not going to try to get him in trouble. So make sure that you guys get that done. Get your setups done. So if you have video cameras, and all that at home, that you guys can get that done. We really want to make sure that you guys can join us and have some fun with us. And the more people we have, the more fun and bantering it's going to be. What's up?
I was going to tell him I do have more mocks I could show off. If those of you who are watching this video now or later would like to see more things that I've built unrelatable to mechs, I have some buildings that I've made in relation to what I like, and I have a couple little things here and there that are small, or maybe a couple ships or something. I would love to show those off. I was cleaning up some stuff the other day, and 2 of them I have to fix because there are a lot of broken old parts.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's called Mega Blocks.
Oh no!
Finally take off because I'm not a kid anymore. Hello, I got Lego right here.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see it because of the camera angle.
Nope. All right. So make sure you guys join us tomorrow for Becca's stream at 5:00. Her interview. And then Brick World, of course, on Saturday. And then, of course, with Riley and I getting interviewed on Thursday and Friday. We've got a whole week of streams for you guys. And I think we're actually going to be doing another silent auction this weekend on Saturday. We've been trying to give everybody a break because we've been pretty wiped out with all these streams all the time. And it seemed to work out pretty well last time. So be on the lookout for a new silent auction going up on Saturday. It's very easy to bid. All you have to do is go hop in a picture and say, I bid on whatever for this much, and then you're done. And then, of course, you do have to keep an eye on it because someone might outbid you last minute. We had a couple of little bid snipers going on last time. So make sure you guys are checking those out. It does end typically at 3 o'clock. So you want to make sure you're kind of refreshing and checking up on Facebook like every couple hours just to make sure nobody outbid you already. And it is only by the couple, like $1 or $2. So we'll have specific rules for you guys to follow. It's very simple, but we had a lot of good times with it. And a lot of people bought stuff last time. So if you are one of those people, make sure you guys call us and pay over the phone with your credit card by Friday. We are here from noon to 5 every day, and then all of those lots and sets do need to be picked up by Sunday at 5 o'clock. So thank you so much. We will see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Make sure you guys are staying healthy, staying having some fun, and keep on building. We will see you then. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.